Magic is fading, slipping quietly from the world, leaving behind only fragments and those who still know how to find them. But sometimes, it is not the magic that is being watched. It is the ones who carry it. Now, on a quiet morning in the city, a simple job is about to become something far more dangerous. In the morning, Catherine dressed and had a quick bite to eat. She had placed the moonstone on some papers on the table. She had always found that something valuable in plain view was often overlooked. It must have some magical properties that are valuable. Why else would it have been in with those other items? She picked it up and felt the unnatural warmth of the stone. She placed the stone into a pouch and slid it into a pocket in her tunic. She will find someone to decipher the runes on the stone and find out what is its worth. Briefly, she touched the pink stone on the necklace around her neck. She always checked that she wore the necklace before she left her home. It wouldn't do to shift and leave her clothing behind. Catherine shifted and slipped out through the small cat door beneath her window. Morning light washed the ledge in a pale gold glow, the sun just beginning to crest the rooftops. Her second-floor apartment had a narrow lip of stone running beneath the window, one of the reasons she'd chosen the place. It made coming and going at dawn wonderfully simple. She padded along the ledge, the cool air ruffling her fur as the city below stirred awake with distant noises. A horse neighing, a barking dog, the low hum of traffic starting its day. Reaching her usual jumping point, she sprang lightly to the branches of a nearby tree, landing without a sound. From there, she descended to the ground in a fluid series of steps, blending into the shadows cast by the early sun. With the streets still mostly quiet, she slipped off toward the city markets, the morning chill clinging pleasantly to her fur. She arrived at a pawn shop and pushed through the cat door. An old man was behind the desk and had what appeared to be a timepiece in his hand and some small tools. He had a graying, neatly trimmed beard and bright blue eyes set in wrinkled sockets. He looked up and nodded to the cat that had appeared.
"Hello, cat. Did you run into any problems?"
The old man smiled as he puts down his tools and the timepiece. Catherine paced once, then shifted back to her humanoid form before the old man's eyes. She gave her clothes a quick, habitual check, still amazed they restored themselves after every shift. Then she unclipped the pouch from her belt and set it on the table.
"Hello, Bart."
She smiled.
No problem at all. The information that they had given me was correct. It was exactly where they had described it to be.
"Good."
He picked up the pouch and, turning, he placed it in a drawer behind him and took an envelope out. He passed the envelope to Catherine.
"I will forward the object to the client. Here's your payment."
Catherine smiled as she took the envelope and put it into her pocket. There was no need to mention about the stone, she thought. The stone was nestled neatly in her pocket. She could still feel the warmth of it. A man pushed open the shop door and stepped inside. He wore gray slacks and a dark brown frock coat, the crisp white of his immaculate shirt just visible beneath it. Black hair peeked from under a tilted fedora, and his complexion was pale, as though sunlight rarely touched him. He offered the old man a charming smile before letting his gaze slide to Catherine, openly appraising her. His smile warmed, reaching his gray eyes, and he gave her a playful wink before turning his attention back to Bart.
"Hello, Cosmo. I wasn't expecting you till the afternoon,"
greeted Bart. Catherine's eyes raked over the back of Cosmo. She was a bit annoyed at how this man had flirted with her. Not that she was opposed to the flirting, it was just the way he was so smug about it. Cosmo shrugged at Bart.
Master Karalik had directed me to drop by just to see if his request was fulfilled.
Cosmo could feel Catherine's presence behind him, and beneath it, a faint trace of unfamiliar magic. When he had entered, the attraction had been immediate, instinctive. He'd barely thought before letting the flirtation slip through. As much as he would have liked to pursue it, this was an errand, and an important one, likely his last. His apprenticeship under Master Karalik was nearing its end. His final lesson, it seemed, had come not from a spell, but from a conversation. Karalik had spoken plainly the night before, something he rarely did. Magic, he said, was becoming harder to reach, thinner, less responsive. That was why he collected artifacts now, not out of curiosity, but necessity, to gather what little magic remained before it slipped away entirely. Bart glanced briefly at Catherine before turning his attention back to Cosmo.
That wizard is impatient,
He said dryly.
but luck is with him. I do have the item he requested.
Cosmo refocused, pulling himself from the thought as he heard the shop door open and close again behind him. A flicker of disappointment crossed his face. He had been hoping for an introduction. Bart turned, retrieved the pouch from the drawer, and handed it over. Cosmo opened it, his expression softening into a satisfied smile. He secured it beneath his cloak, then passed over an envelope in exchange.
Thank you. I'm sure Karalik will be very pleased.
Catherine slipped from the shop, and moments later settled into the quiet stillness of the street in her feline form. From the shadows, she watched the door, unsure why her curiosity lingered, only that it did. Cosmo stepped out into the morning light, pausing just long enough to glance up and down the street. He started off at an easy pace, his thoughts already turning toward food and the errands that still remained. But as he walked, he felt it again, that same trace of unfamiliar magic, following him. Cosmo's expression didn't change. He didn't slow, he simply continued on. Behind him, the small ginger cat moved with careful precision, keeping to the edges of shadow, certain she had gone unnoticed. Cosmo had always been aware, even when others believed themselves unseen. Some things were harder to hide than they seemed.
If you want to see where these roads lead, make sure to subscribe. There's more to this story than they were ever meant to uncover.